Welcome to Power, Purpose, Passion, the podcast. We are really excited to introduce to you Anthony Cheam. He has spent almost 20 years in the fitness and health industry and has gone on to transition into life coaching and is now a motivational speaker, author of the ABCs of Life and U 2.0, as well as working on courses and much more. Here he is, Anthony Cheam.
It's good to be on the show again.
Yeah, of course, it's your show.
I wish I could say it's good to see you, but I can't see you on the screen right now. But
well, that's okay. You can hear my voice. I think that's
it. That's all that matters.
I think the people here will be able to hear, or will be able to see me, so everything will be good.
All right, sounds good. What's up, leaders and healers? What's up?
That's what I'm talking about, man. So tell us a little bit about how you've been, how your week's been since the last episode.
Yeah, it's been fantastic, man. A lot of good things. Working on my third book and online courses, and start filming some of the material for those courses very soon, and making my way to impacting more people and reaching more people, and making this world a better place as a result of sharing of my wisdom, my talents, my gifts, and just doing my part. It's fun. A lot of fun, a lot of fear too. It's good. I like it.
Yeah, that's good, man. I'm excited to be back on the show with you because me and Cam are now switching off. So Cam's got 1 week and I got the next week. But,
awesome.
It's my turn. I got some fun questions for you.
Sounds good. Look forward to it. Fire away, man.
Yeah, so let's get right into it. Let's not waste any more time here. I want to ask you kind of what you think about an episode all about creating a compelling vision for your life. I find a lot of people have trouble with this because, you know, they've got this vision or this dream and they know they want it, but for some reason they just can't get themselves excited about it, or they can't just get themselves to do something about it. And there's something in their way, or they're in their own way, or whatever it is, right? And so I want to do an episode based on this idea because honestly, I'm having a little bit of a struggle with this myself. And so I'd love to get your advice on creating a compelling vision.
Well, first off, I'm going to tell you, I mean, even it says in the great book, the Bible, right, it talks about how without a vision, my people perish, right? Helen Keller, the famous woman who was at the age of 19 was diagnosed. She couldn't see or hear with a disease. I forget what the disease was called. And she was asked, what would be worse than being blind? And she said without hesitation, it would be far worse to have perfect eyesight and no vision than the other way around. This comes from a person that has had the experience of seeing, hearing, and then being blinded and being deaf. And she, have her say that, experience both of those things happening to her, that says a lot. So we need vision. We need vision to move towards something. And part of vision for me is it's all about establishing with clarity what it is you want. Not just from life, but what you want to give to life, what you want to contribute to life, what you want to learn from life. There's so many hidden gems and secrets and nuggets of opportunity and knowledge to grasp, to learn, to master. I often get asked, I often ask people, how is it possible that any human on the planet can be bored? I mean, there's always something to do, something to learn. There's tens of thousands of things skills to learn if you wanted to. And for the most part, people get mixed up in doing too many things at once, biting more off than they can chew. And so my sort of idea about vision is this: establish what it is you want. Like what it is you want. I mean, oftentimes in my own sort of contemplation, my prayer, my meditation, and my journaling and writing my ideas down, I just sit down and write. I just sit down and sit down in front of my chair and start writing some of my ideas, some of my thoughts, and it doesn't matter if it's good or not. And I start there, and from that sort of, that sitting down, that process of sitting down and writing or typing, creative juices flow, and a vision can be born from that. But you got to establish a clear-cut vision about what it is you want. For example, even just in weight loss, like a weight loss industry, the health industry is $1 trillion industry, and people are looking for the next fad diet or fad program like the 21-Day Fix or the P90X or Insanity, and all those are great programs, but people, what they fail to see is the vision beyond that. They get into this program, 21-Day Fix, and then it ends there, or they want to lose 10 pounds for a wedding, and after they lose 10 pounds, they end up gaining the weight back. So you got to have a very strong, compelling vision about who you want to become, what you want to do, what you want to accomplish, and be specific about it. Don't just say, I want to lose weight. You want to be even more clear and make it more compelling. You use the word compelling. It's not just about having a vision, but having a compelling vision that ignites some juices and emotion inside you, so that all of you is moving forward, that you're inspired by some great vision or some great purpose, that it gets you moving. I love what Wayne Dyer says about inspiration. He says, motivation is when you take an idea and you take it to its conclusion, and you do whatever it takes to get to that conclusion. But inspiration is the opposite, is when an idea gets a hold of you, and that idea takes you where you were meant to go, even before you were born. And so once you get an idea about a vision about, like what I like to do with people with weight loss, what I'll often do is I'll get them to close their eyes and I'll say, okay, I want you to imagine and have a vision, use your imagination, and just get a vision about you stepping on the scale and you being the exact weight that you want to be. Right? Just get people to do that. And you'll be and it's an amazing experience for me to watch from the observer point of view. And I get them to imagine in full and vivid detail. And when they finally do it, they kind of close their eyes and, okay, imagine it being 100 and whatever, 50 pounds, 140 pounds, whatever it is, and seeing the number. And you can actually see their face as they imagine it. They see the weight, and you can see their whole physiological and their whole face change and everything, and you can see that something sparks inside them. And then I ask them, so how does that feel to be that weight? And they go, oh my gosh, that would be amazing. How good would that feel? And they basically take that feeling, that vision, they're taking that future vision and pulling it into the present moment, so it ignites a certain state inside them, so that then translates into proactive action towards that future vision. So vision, basically, we are being pulled by a vision. You know what I'm saying? So rather than being pushed towards the vision, we're being pulled by that vision. So every morning during my meditations, I envision what I want from life, what I want to give to life, how much money I want to make, what I want to be doing in my next book. I mean, every book I ever write, that I'm ever going to write, I always imagine myself holding the book in front of my face, even though it's never done. In my mind, I envision the book being done, and me handing it to someone, or me selling it to somebody, or me talking to somebody about it, just like on a podcast or whatever it is. Me signing books and someone asking me to sign the book, and me giving it to them, and then getting ongoing testimonials about how that book impacted their life, and how good it would make me feel that I was part of the impetus in their transformation, and how good that feels. And so that feeling of inspiration, the feeling of knowing that I'm making a difference, I ignite that every morning. So then from that feeling, I then move, being pulled by that future vision, then I take proactive action towards that vision. Rather than just kind of hope that I'm going to go that way, I literally take care of the results ahead of time. You take care of the results ahead of time. I mean, I did this in the seminar at U 2.0 when I asked people I had a volunteer, and you were there too. I had someone stand up and say, imagine for a second, I want you to just straighten your legs out, and I want you to reach as far forward as possible. And do you remember this, Brent, when I did this?
Yeah.
So I said, reach as far forward, try and touch the ground, and just go. And then they maybe 3-4 inches from the ground. And then I had them stand up. I imagined, and I said, okay, I want you to close your eyes. I want you to imagine yourself stretching forward and going and putting your palms fully on the floor, and just imagine yourself doing that. And you can do that. You can do that anytime. If you want to imagine yourself driving a Ferrari, you can do that, right? You can want to imagine yourself with $1 million in the bank. You can do that. If you want to imagine yourself in Hawaii right now, close your eyes. You can do that, and you'll get the same sensations as if you were actually there in real time. So, anyways, in the seminar, I had someone do that, and I had them do that a few times, so I can anchor that and condition that sort of vision. And so I had them do it again and again. I said, okay, now I want you to open your eyes now, straighten your legs, and I want you to reach as far forward as you can again. And I'm telling you, every single time I do that with anybody, and I do various forms of that, they reach far further than they did the first time. Way further. They end up touching the floor and beyond. So if that is true for something as small as stretching forward towards your feet, you can use that with virtually anything. And I think the biggest problem people face is they want the instant gratification. They want the $1 million now. They want the 10 pounds off their body now. I remember reading a book by Paul Zane Pilzer. He was an economic advisor to a few of the presidents, and he wrote a book called The Next Millionaires. And basically he talked about, one of his quotes was, success is the willingness to delay, or success is having the capacity to willingly delay gratification. Just willingly delay it. And again, I told you this before we started filming. I said, there's no such thing. My mentor, a long time ago said, there's no such thing as big shots, only little shots that keep on shooting. Little actions every day, little victories every day. I was coaching someone on the phone the other day, very young, and she was asking about, I got so much stuff to do. I have so much I want to accomplish. I got so many dreams. And I said, whoa, just hold on a second. I want you to just stop for a second. I want you to write down 3 things that you can do in the next hour. 3 little things. She wants to write a book, I said, and she had what they call writer's block or whatever. And I said, all I want you to do is sit in front of your computer or whatever it is you're writing with, and I want you to write 3 sentences. I don't want you to care about if it's grammatically correct. I don't want you to care if it sounds good. I don't care what it is. Just write for the wastebasket and just start writing. That's your first thing. And then she said, the second thing, I'm going to exercise and for 5 or 10 minutes. Or third thing, I forget what the third thing was, but I said I basically made it very small little commitments in that day. She ended up texting me the next day and she said, oh my God, that was an amazing approach, dealing with small things that lead to big victories. And she said, you know what, in her text, I believe it was like, I sat down, I had the intention to sit down for 15 or 20 minutes. I ended up writing for an hour, and she ended up writing, and then she ended up working for a lot longer than she did. Because again, once you get in that creative flow, then you end up going longer. You actually get in that state where you want to do it rather than having to force yourself to do it, right? So little small victories. And so let's go back a bit. In terms of your vision, I honestly recommend everyone listening or watching me here, if you have a vision to open up a business or daycare, open up, or have some social impact in society, to double your income or lose weight or get in shape or whatever your goal is, you got to wake up and envision as if it's already a reality in your life. Because the reality is, if you want that body, if you want that income, if you want that business to be successful, you have to envision, you have to imagine it as if it's already a real and present moment fact. Because if you put yourself in that reality, you'll become the person that's necessary, even through your imagination, to get that thing done. Like 20 years ago, Brent, let me tell you, I didn't do well in English. I was horrible in academics. I remember getting 0 out of 50 on one test, literally 0 out of 50. And my English teacher, remember her saying the next day, Anthony, you didn't write anything on your test. She basically said, and I said, I didn't read the books, I didn't read the chapters, and I said, I don't know the answers. And she gave me another chance to write it. But the point is, just to give you an idea, I'm not academically advanced in any way, shape, or form. I didn't have the greatest disciplines or the greatest determination or the greatest gifts in academics, but I did have hunger. I established that I wanted to be better. And I had a vision that said, okay, is it possible that I can be just a bit better today than I was yesterday? And if I could just improve 1 or 2% every day, even 0.1% every day, then a year from now, I would be far greater and far more wise and intelligent and stronger and courageous and insightful than I was a year ago. But I focused my attention on what I could do now, just little things I could do now. And I started reading the books. I started feeding my mind. I started to develop the courage, develop the disciplines, develop the mindset that says I could be better. I could, if I envisioned something strong enough, and I was hungry enough, determined enough, and I went at it relentlessly. When I first, and I'm going to tell you a story. When I first finished my first book, The ABCs of Life, Living Life with Power, Purpose, and Passion, I was actually scared because I didn't think it was going to get received because my past was, my biography was, I was never good in school. I was never good in English. I mean, I think the highest mark I got in an English essay was a D or C plus maybe, and I think my sister helped me with it. So I had this idea, this belief that said, I wrote this book, like pouring out my heart and soul into these pages, and then when my editor finally finished the editing, I was horrified. I'm like, oh my God, she's going to come back and say this is a horrible book. And then the day came when she finished editing my book, and we met in person, and she said, how on earth, and again, I am paraphrasing, she said, how on earth did you fail in English? Because this is an amazing book. I mean, grammatically, there's some corrections we need to make, but in terms of your passion and the information, the wisdom, and how you pour your wisdom onto the paper, it is amazing. And I just thought, I literally had a moment where I was tearing up because I thought, wow, I've come a long way through the books I've read, the seminars I've attended, and the meditations and the prayers and all the tools and strategies that I've learned from a lot of my heroes that I've implemented day in, day out, day in, day out, day in, day out. And I look back and go, wow, I've come a long way. And it all started with what we were talking about right now, with a vision. And then I think the next part of it is this, Bren, is not just having the vision. And we talked about this prior to actually filming this right now. But the second part of it, you got to have a vision that's going to stir your soul. That's the best way I can describe it. Stir your soul, move your spirit. And you have to emotionalize the vision. So when you envision it, it charges you emotionally, it charges you physiologically, it charges every part of you, every cell is being charged by that vision that, oh my gosh, you attach an emotion to that vision. And let me tell you, if you do that enough, it gets anchored to that vision. You start to move in that direction almost unconsciously. And I've had this thing happen all in my life, throughout my life. The right people show up because I align myself with my vision emotionally, physically, spiritually. All of me is firing forward in that vision, in that direction. And when you do that, magical things happen. Synchronicities, Carl Jung called it, happen. And you just, wow, you sit and go, as a witness, you kind of go, whoa, this is amazing. And I'm not just talking about, that documentary, The Secret. You sit and you think positive thoughts and you have a vision and you just sit there. What I'm saying is this: you have a vision, and you consistently anchor that vision, you emotionalize it. And from that emotion, then you take action. You don't just sit in this lotus position all day and meditate, unless that's of course what you want to do. But you sit and have a vision, and once you emotionalize that vision, you anchor that vision in your body and your mindset, then you immediately take action without hesitation. Don't wait to feel good. From that vision, you then take action. Because without the action, you know what? What does it say in the great book? Faith without action is dead. You can't just have faith that things are going to work. You got to do your part. Because people that have, Les Brown says, if you don't have a goal, that is your goal, and you'll hit it dead right in the head, right? If you don't have a vision or something that you want with clarity, you're going to hit that goal every time, because guess what? You're going to be throwing darts in the air without a target, and you're going to hit the target because it's nothing. You don't have a vision, and you're just going to keep on throwing that dart, and it's going to hit, and you'll hit it every time because you haven't established what it is you want with clarity, with a vision, with purpose, that it's emotional.
No, yeah, it's creating a vision so strong. Like you said, it just pulls you to it, and you can't help but find new ways, new actions to take, new people to meet, new opportunities everywhere, because your vision is just it's pulling you, it's driving you, it's basically, yeah, it's driving you. It's in the driver's seat, you're in the passenger seat. You follow, and what it tells you to do, you do it, right? And yeah. I think that makes a lot of sense with the struggle I've been going through lately, because with the launch of our company, I've been spending so much time on the company. And as a result, I've been spending less time thinking about my vision and less time in the meditations and in the planning process and in just, getting excited again, because if you don't keep that passion up, if you don't keep the excitement rolling, it tends to die down. And that's what I'm experiencing. But just being on the call with you pumps me up again, Anthony. Sure.
Sorry, that's a phone in the back. Apologies.
Oh, no worries. We're live. People understand.
No, I think you said it best. It's not so much that, Khalil Gibran in his book, The Prophet, and he talks about how, I read sort of a forward or a later version of it, and at the beginning of the book he says, when I was writing The Prophet was writing me. I didn't have purpose, my purpose had me. I didn't have a vision, my vision had me. And I think that there's some definite power behind that. When you have a strong enough vision, it's literally pulling you. And I love what Les Brown says, if you are meant to do something in this world and you aren't doing it, I believe, and he says, if you're worthy, life, if you don't move on what is necessary, that's yours to do, life will move on you and force you to go. And he gives the example when he was a disc jockey, he got fired. And he said, on an audio I was listening to, he said if he wasn't fired from that job as a disc jockey, he would not be the motivational speaker that he is today. So life moved on him and forced him, go and pursue your greatness. And it literally was a blessing in disguise, an opportunity to say that you aren't meant to do this. You aren't moving past that which you have already mastered. And I think that's what we got to continuously do, push ourselves to be better each and every single day and have that vision that says, and never lose sight of that vision. And I think that's what you're talking about too, is never lose sight. We get so caught up in the action part of it, of making that vision come true, that we lose sight sometimes on how we're doing or how far we've come. Just like I did with my English, I was writing. I became better at writing because of the amount of books I was reading. The amount of seminars I was attending, the amount of audios I was listening to, and naturally my language got better, my vocabulary expanded, my writing got better because I was writing a lot of my ideas down in my journal, and I didn't even notice it until that English professor, the psychological, my editor, who was a professor at a college, who used to edit material, and I was very intimidated by her because I think, she's just gonna kill my material, and she loved it. And she said, your information, your wisdom is very profound. In fact, she said, it changed my life reading your material. And she's had to read it 2 or 3 times as a result. But the point is that, again, if you have that strong vision about who you want to become, what you want to do with your life, Zig Ziglar talks about how you must be before you can do and do before you can have. Everything in life that you manifest is a result of who you are. Who you are results in what you do, and what you do then gets you what you want from a material sense, and too from a spiritual sense as well. So you got to focus on who you are. Wayne Dyer says you don't attract in your life what you want, you attract in life who you are. So work on who you are. Work on becoming a better person. Deepak Chopra says if you want to find the right one, become the right one. Tony Robbins says, we select our friends by who we select ourselves to be, right? Yeah. So Gandhi says, be the change you wish to see in the world. Be the change first before you can actually make change, right? So in order to you got to have a vision for yourself too, not just for your company and vision for who you want to show up as. I like saying the best version of a better version of yourself, not necessarily the best version, but a better version of yourself. Upgrading who you are, upgrading your skills. I often say to people, listen, you don't ever get paid for your time. You always get paid based on the value you are currently bringing into the marketplace. And I got this from Jim Rohn. He says, if you double your value in the marketplace, you're going to double your income. If you triple your value in the marketplace, you're going to triple your income. Don't just triple the amount of time you put in effort into it, but focus on the value that you're bringing to the world. Right? So the idea is, for me, it's not just about having a vision for your future and what you want to accomplish, but who you want to show up as, what you want to contribute, and ultimately what you want to share. And I like the analogy there, Brent, about the candle. If you light a candle, and I light 1,000 other candles, does that diminish my own power? No, it just amplifies it. It lights up more of the room. And though our candles may eventually die, they live on the people that we have touched through our books, through our song, through our poems, through our businesses, through our skills, our talents that we have nurtured. And I believe that, as Oliver Wendell Holmes once stated, he says, you don't want to die with the music still in you. You don't want to die with that. So if you've got a book to write, then that's your book. If you've got a song to sing, that's your song. No one else is gonna sing that song you want to sing the way you sing it. No one's going to, if you're a hairstylist, no one's gonna, do the hairstyles that you were meant to do. No one's gonna give it that special touch or whatever it is. As a trainer, as a coach, no one's gonna write Anthony Cheam books or do the Anthony Cheam events. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have to take charge of that. And part of being successful in your life and having an important vision is taking full responsibility for your vision to make it come true. The buck has to stop and end with you. No one's going to do it but you. And Les Brown has this 6-step process. I love it. He says, the first step, you got to believe it's possible. Just anchor that feeling. It's possible. No matter how bad it gets, it's possible. Second step, it's necessary. You pursue your dream with passion, not half-heartedly, with passion. The third one, I love it. He says, it's you. It's you that's going to make it happen. It's got to be you. You might have help and stuff and get all these people to help you, but at the end of the day, to manifest your dream, to make it come true and pursue it, you got to take 100% full responsibility for it. That's it. And the fourth one, I believe it is, I love this. It's hard. You got to accept the fact that your dream is going to be hard, because it's going to be hard. You're going to face opposition. You're going to face opponents. You're going to face rejection after rejection and failure after failure. And if you accept it, you have this certain edge about you, because you know that when the challenges come up, you go, oh, this is part of it. Because most people have this idea that I have this dream, I'm going to make it happen, and they just don't anticipate the obstacles. And they go, and when the obstacle does happen, they go, oh, I guess it's not meant to happen because it's harder than I thought. Well, no, it's supposed to be hard. It's testing your commitment. If you have big dreams, trust me, you're going to have big challenges. And the fifth step, it's worth it. You got to establish a purpose of why you're on this journey, why you want to establish, why you want to accomplish this dream of yours, this vision of yours. And the sixth and final one is it's done. You reach a point of no return where you busted out everything. You've given your heart and soul day in, day out for years, months, whatever it is. And eventually the universe aligns in your favor and it just gets done. And you get in that zone where things just start to happen just by thinking about it. I've had this happen. I'm sure you've had this happen during your music or your writing. Have I had this during my speaking? And all of a sudden I'm speaking and all this stuff is coming out of my mouth. I'm like, where's this even coming from? Or writing or playing the piano or learning guitar or whatever it is. And all of a sudden something takes over and you just surrender to it. You just become a witness to it. And it's not even, you can't even be arrogant. It's just like this thing happens and you're just like, wow. You just bear witness to the magnificence of the divine spirit, love, God, whatever you want to call it. And it just happens. But this isn't just given to you like that. It's given to those who are fully committed to excellence, that have grinded themselves into the ground, poured themselves out, broke themselves down, went through the frustrations, went through the failures and rejections, and they just kept pushing forward and pushing forward and pushing forward. And eventually, they finally hit gold. And most people, as Napoleon Hill says, they stop when they're 3 feet from gold. And they were just right there at the cusp and they quit. And you see it all the time, people quitting. And it's unfortunate, but it does get hard. I certainly have it. The higher I go and the higher I strive for in my life, the bigger I become in my soul and want to express myself authentically in the way I feel like I've put on this planet for, the harder it gets. Because I feel like that, I've accomplished a certain level of success in my business or whatever it is in my life. I just, naturally as human beings, we want to do more, experience more, see how far we can take it. And we then challenge ourselves to the next level. Why not? Why not go to the next level, right? If it's there, if it's available to you, why not? If you could be stronger, faster, smarter, if it's available to you, why not? It's a question I say in my second book. It's if you could do better, should you? And Jim Rohn asked that question in one of his audios, and I thought, wow, if you could be healthier, should you? Yes. If you could be wiser, should you? Yes. If you could be smarter, should you? Yes. All those, yes across the board. So the idea is that we can always be better. Even though, and here's the thing, Brad, even though you can reach for perfection, even though you can't get to perfection, that shouldn't stop you from pursuing it and getting as close to it as humanly possible. Even though you know that you can never be perfect. You know what I mean? But you go after it anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's sort of the paradox.
Yeah, and you go for perfection and you might catch excellence or greatness or something, right? And if you don't, then what are the odds you're going to get those things at all? And I really love what you said there earlier about the candles, about making sure that your candle is lit and seeing other people's candles lit as well. And if you could light other people's candles, as many as you can, so that when yours dies down, there's still, your legacy, you've still lit all these people up, and then it creates a ripple effect where they're going to go out and they're going to light other people's candles and light other people up. And it's just, that's what we're doing here, right? That's what it's all about for us.
You got it. I mean, look at someone like a Jesus or a Buddha or a Gandhi. I mean, Jesus died, 2,000 years ago, right? Yet his candle is still glowing in the lives of many people today, regardless of your religious background or not. A lot of, whether you're Christian or Muslim, a lot of people respect him as a wise human being who was enlightened, or a Buddha, or a Muhammad, or Lao Tzu, or whatever it is. Those people, those guys died so many years ago, yet they had their soul, their legacy, their wisdom, their lives are still living in every human being through our study, through our reading, through our attending seminars and going to churches and temples and mosques, whatever it is that whatever your heart is telling you to do. But I think you're right. I think, at the end of the day, as much as we want to accomplish success and all that stuff, I think true success comes really when you then share that success and then teach it to other people and contribute as much as you can, so that at the end of your life, you are completely empty. And as one of my favorite quotes is, when I finally meet my creator and I look him or her in the face and I say, I want to be able to say, what, I have no more passions or purposes left. I use them all. So, with that being said, I want to have that. I want to experience that. So every day I'm driven by that to say, I want to be used up. I literally want to be used fully. And if I die today, right now, would I be happy? Absolutely, I would be. Because I wasn't a slave to my fears. I wasn't a slave to my biography. I wasn't a slave to this expectation about who I'm supposed to be. But I was who I was meant to be. And I'll end here. You don't just want to do what's expected of you. Are you doing? I ask you, the audience right now, are you doing what you're doing because it's expected of you, or it's because you're doing it because you want to do it? So ask yourself that question, people who are listening and watching. Are you doing what you're doing because it's expected, or it's because you want to do it? So maybe start there, and then climb and expand your vision and enhance your vision from there.
That's great, Anthony. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, man.
Before we sign off here, I see your little one in the background there.
Yeah.
How's it going? Anyways, is there like a quick strategy or some sort of homework we could leave with the listeners here? Because I know a lot of people are just looking for the quick hit when it comes to getting these strategies down. So is there some sort of exercise they could do that'd be quick, it's on a daily basis, and it would help to emotionalize your vision so that it pulls you a lot more?
Great question. Spend 5 minutes, just 5 minutes a day, 2 minutes even, but 5 minutes a day just in silence, and maybe spend the first minute just being grateful for everything in your life. Because when you're in a state of gratitude, you're in a state of plenitude. There's enough to go around, including for you. Because if you're in a state of fear all the time and scarcity, that means there's not enough to go around. So if you spend it in 2 minutes just being grateful for everything in your life, like everything in your life, the good things, the bad things, whatever it is, they're making you more. And then in the next 3 minutes, establish that vision and say, all right, a year from now, who do I want to be? Where do I want to go? How much money do I want to make? Or what weight do I want to be at? Anything, and actually see yourself experiencing the victory, the celebration, the feeling of accomplishing that, the weight that you want to be, or the money that you want to be making. Feel the glory of that. For just 5 minutes, it's all it takes. 5 minutes. I mean, I'm doing it for like an hour every day, but I didn't start with an hour. I started with 3-4 minutes, and I built upon that. But I'm doing this every day without question. I'm telling you, every day I'm doing this. I don't just hope it's gonna show up. I'm making sure I'm taking care of the mindset, the spirit that's flowing through me, so I'm becoming a greater vessel so that I could make those things come true.
Great, Anthony. I think that's a lot of information for people to soak up. So if you feel like you've just been smacked in the face with all this wisdom, go back and watch this episode again. It'll be available live on our Facebook and on YouTube and all that stuff. And make sure you go check out Anthony's website. He's got all sorts of great stuff coming out, including 2 new courses you're telling me you're working on right now?
2 new courses, yeah.
2 new courses. So that's some exciting stuff. Thanks again, Anthony. We'll see you again next week.
All right, and look to some live events in the future too, and some collaborations between all of us too.
Oh, there's lots going on, guys. So
that's awesome, man.
Keep in touch. Make sure you guys are following us.
Okay.
Thanks again.
Sounds good. Thank you for having me, guys.
Yep. Peace.
All right. Bye now.
Thank you for tuning in to Power, Purpose, Passion, the podcast. If you've received any value from this podcast, please leave a review on iTunes. It would help us tremendously to get on the new and noteworthy and to share Anthony's message with even more people. For more information, go to anthonycheam.com or implicitentertainment.com and all the info should be there. So thank you again. We'll see you next week.